Nintendo has announced that the JRPG Xenoblade Chronicles X will hit North America and other Western territories this summer. The game comes out in Japan today and features a massive open world that's designed to show off what the Wii U's hardware is capable of. Xenoblade Chronicles X isn't exactly a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles. It's billed as a spiritual successor with the same kind of combat and emphasis on exploration, but in a completely new world that's more science fiction than fantasy. Another big difference is that players will be able to jump into and control high-tech mech suits, which will make the combat more intense. We'll have more on Xenoblade Chronicles X before it arrives. The first game was just re-released on the 3DS, and you can watch our review of that on EPN.tv. And while we're on the subject of role-playing games, it looks like Warcraft wants to loot the summer box office. Universal and Legendary Pictures have delayed the upcoming film adaptation of the epic fantasy games from March 2016 to June 2016. It's not much of a push, but does put the movie right in the middle of the busy summer blockbuster season, which means the studio must be pretty confident that it will be a hit. Video game adaptations have long struggled to find an audience on the big screen, so we'll have to wait and see if Warcraft can change that. Filming wrapped last year with Moon and Source Code director Duncan Jones at the helm. A lot of epic in the rundown today, and here to help me discuss all that is my pal Marissa Roberto. Are you excited about a Warcraft movie from Duncan Jones? Does this sound interesting to you?
No, just because I'm not into the Warcraft world at all. I don't play a lot of it, and I just feel like I need to devote a lot of my life to it. So because I don't know these characters at all, I'm not sure I can get into.
That's an awesome point, because sometimes it's better to go into these huge hyped up things like this with very low expectations or no expectations, or an expectation to be disappointed, and then everything is completely changed around for you.
Right.
Duncan Jones is an amazing, formidable filmmaker. He's done some really great work, but at a much kind of smaller scale. This is going to be his first foray into something vast and epic and huge, you know.
We'll see. We'll see what it's like. I mean, I'm excited to go with you. I'm sure you and I will be reviewing it, so we'll see. We'll see.
And of course, the other big epic RPG stuff is that Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming to the Wii U. I say Xenoblade and I say Xenoblade.
I say Xenoblade.
Is it okay? Maybe there is no right way.
I am just so impressed with this world completely. I mean, it does remind you of Final Fantasy a lot, and I've never really been into the Final Fantasy world, so jumping into Xenoblade was a challenge for me, but once you do jump into it, you realize how in-depth these characters are and how far they can run. Just this big, huge world for them to go into. Yeah, the exploration is crazy. And what we're seeing with this generation on Wii U is that, you know, this is Nintendo's first HD console, and it's a pretty powerful machine, you know, as evidenced by a lot of big titles like Mario Kart 8, for example. And this is kind of the first time that Nintendo fans are getting to see these big, huge, open vistas and this clarity. Zelda's going to be like that as well. It feels like something to get really excited about. They put their stamp of approval on it.
Yes.
And I've been enjoying what Nintendo has been churning out for years now. So I'm going to play this with you. I know I am, just like I mentioned the Warcraft movie with you. So a lot of RPG action in our lives.
Yes,
soon.
but you know, this looks like a little bit more action-oriented with some cool mech stuff and some cool vehicle stuff. This thing looks absolutely stunning.
The future.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
But right now, we've got to peer into the crystal ball a little bit as well for something else that is coming up very soon with new technology. We're talking about Guitar Hero Live, and take a look at how they built all of the live action stuff for this game.